Guys, welcome back to episode 5 of
Woo!
do a Lamar Jackson edit on that. Okay.
Because I have no idea what that is, but sure.
So-
we'll do a Lamar Jackson
so-
edit.
Lamar Jackson.
And especially for all 3 people that watch us on YouTube.
Do a Lamar,
For our
Do a Lamar-
Spotify audience, they have no idea what just happened.
do a Lamar Jackson edit.
We high-fived each
If
other.
you know you no,
and
no,
then,
no, no,
we did high-five
Yeah,
each
we
other.
did.
And then you went and zoomed your
grabbed
hand
the
into the
camera.
camera.
Yeah.
But for the people listening, they have no idea what happened. So, episode 5, heat check. We've all been on those heaters, where you're just popping off and can't seem to miss.
Have we all?
I mean, not in basketball necessarily, but life. Okay, so before we get to that, let's talk about our weekend. We just came off 4th of July, my favorite holiday.
Yeah, it's a really good holiday,
How was your 4th?
America's
I don't
holiday.
feel like we didn't spend a lot of time together. We went to the parade, and then
we did. We
and
spent half the
then
day together. Actually,
that was not half the day.
It was.
You left at like noon.
Nope. 1, buddy.
Okay.
1.
Whatever.
And then I came back at 12. So that's 12 hours and 12 hours.
So what did you do?
I went to the parade with you guys, and Peyton came, and then I got to go over to her house, and then we went to the rodeo, and that was pretty fun. And
Which rodeo did you go
to? St. Paul rodeo.
St. Paul. Okay, it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Clackamas County Fair and Rodeo has a rodeo.
Clackamas County Fair and Rodeo has a rodeo.
That's one of my favorite rodeos. Okay, so you are in the middle of your real estate class.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going?
It's going pretty good. I struggle sometimes on it.
Yeah, what are you struggling with?
Well, they had this one section where it was about water bottles, and I really wasn't sure why they had it in there, because as a real estate agent, not really sure what I gonna do with water bottles.
Yeah,
but
so
like this, I don't know anything about this. What is this?
Well, I think maybe it had to do with mineral rights. Maybe it had to do with water rights. There could be multiple things, but like I said, a lot of the stuff that you're gonna be learning in this class is so you can pass the test. The real learning comes once you have your actual real estate license. Did you find anything that was useful, or it was just all water bottles and all nonsense?
It was just all water bottle talk.
Okay. All right. Well, we gotta push through, and
we gotta push through. Got to do 3 more hours today.
We gotta do what you don't want to do
at the highest.
We don't want to do it at the highest level. Okay. So last week we had our legacy check, and it was about consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do you remember what the thing that you said you were going to work on? That we were going
to. I was going to work on waking up on time
and just getting out of bed when your alarm went off.
Yeah, today my alarm didn't go off because I unplugged it last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to plug it back in.
Okay, so prior to that, how was it going?
Yeah, it was going good.
So you were getting up right when it. Okay, nice, good. For me, I was trying to be more consistent, and I felt like I was really locked in. A good example was the 3rd, so Thursday, about noon. I was like, man, it is gorgeous outside. 4th of July is tomorrow. I want to just check out, right, and be done for
the
the
day.
Gym. Go to the gym, go to the pool, whatever. And I was like, no, I need to stay locked in. I'm going to have 3 days off. So I stayed locked in, and I finished, and I got some stuff done that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to do had I quit early. So
good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now on to heat checks. In order to get to a heat check, you have to be on fire, right?
Yeah. Speaking of heat, it's really hot outside right now.
I mean, it's not that hot. It's
about to start sweating here pretty soon.
Okay. Well, good segue there. I don't know if that's what you're trying to do or what.
No.
Okay.
It was just really hot.
What's it like when you're on fire, where you just are hitting?
It's like feels like the best feeling in the world.
Okay.
Kinda, almost.
So there's 2 times where I can specifically remember. I mean, I know you've been hot lots, but 2 times really stand out. First one was a game down at Seaside, and you had 13 points in 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, vividly. Yeah.
Vividly?
Yeah, vividly.
which means very well.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
I'm aware what
Okay.
vividly
So
means. That's why
so
I said it.
so walk us through kind of what you were thinking, what was going on.
Well, guys, let me paint the picture for you. My team was down. They needed someone to step up. And so I said, I'll do it. I'll be the guy, right? So I get past the ball. I'm like, you know what? I'm at the 3-point line. I'm gonna shoot it. So I shot it. I make it, right? So then our defensive guy, he gets a stop. He gets a steal, right? Right off the inbounds. He catches it. He steals it. Pass it back to me for another 3-point. Catch it. I shoot it. I swish it. Boom. At 6 points right there. Then come down the court. He gets another steal, right? So he's 2 for 2 on steals, right? Pass
This is
down to
Jack,
me.
right?
Yeah. Pass
Okay.
down to me for a layup, right? So I make the layup. That is 8 points right there.
Points. We're at 8. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Then I get the ball again. I think they scored one time down.
I think
off
you
off.
had a steal actually at one point.
Well, I'm getting to
Oh,
there.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. So they get a basket, right? We inbounds it. I come down. I shoot another 3.
Well, that one was pretty deep too.
Yeah. It was deep, right? I make it. Boom. That's 11 points right there.
Wait,
Okay.
we were at
We're
6, 8. Yeah, not K 11.
I
Yep.
know how to do math.
Okay. All right.
So then this is where I get the steal. Then off a pass, I steal it with the wrong hand, as Coach David Henry likes to say, and I got it for another layup, and then it was the end of the half.
It wasn't enough. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy 13 points in 90 seconds. Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So that's when you were on fire.
Yeah.
Now we came back at a halftime. Were you still on fire?
I started shooting everything, but I couldn't make it.
Right. Okay. And that's okay. Because and that's one of the things we're going to talk about is feeding the hot hand, right?
Mhm.
So we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So the next one that stands out is the most recent event, championship game.
Mm-hmm.
You came out and in the first quarter, you hit 4 threes.
I did.
In a row. Your first one was pretty deep and you just let it fly. And I'm sitting there on the bench going, oh man, no. But no, it went in. And Coach Mark is sitting there like, oh, like, yeah. And then you come down, you hit another one and another one and another one. 4 in a row. It was pretty epic. I mean, it was awesome to be there and see it. And then I remember that fifth one. The fifth one, you pulled up really deep, like maybe I don't know 6-7 feet past the
Bro, are you serious right now?
half court line. It was pretty deep, and you took it, and it almost went in. It clanked off, but it rattled off. But nobody was mad about it.
No.
And why was nobody mad about it?
Because I had made 4 threes.
You had made 4 in a row. You had earned your right to keep shooting, right? So as a coach, I want to make sure that we are continuing to feed the hot hand, right? Do you recognize it as a player when another player is hot? Like, I know you recognize it when you're hot and you're like, I'm taking this, but do you recognize it when another player is shooting well?
Yeah, for sure. They can't miss.
Yeah. And so then
automatic.
Everybody's like, get them the ball, right?
Well, some people.
Or they should be.
Yeah.
When somebody's hot, you want to feed them the ball, right?
Right, because they can't miss.
Right.
And you want points.
Until they do, right? And then so like if somebody's hot and not missing, you keep feeding that hot hand until they do miss. And as a coach, like I'm not pulling somebody out. Like maybe I had planned on pulling somebody out and all of a sudden they get hot. Sorry, I just changed rotations midway through because I'm keeping that player in to make sure that we're continuing to feed the hot hand. Because otherwise, I think what happens is like when you were at that 13 points in 90 seconds, all that momentum stopped.
Yeah.
As soon as we went into the locker room, right? So it's important to continue to feed and foster that hot hand. And you've earned the right to get that heat check, right? And sometimes that heat check goes in and sometimes it does not. Right. I remember this one time, it was freshman year, we were playing down in Salem. I was coaching, you were playing. And we were up by 2. No, we were up by 3. We were up by 3.
Right.
It's towards the end of regulation. And Jack is like, hey, we should foul. I'm like, nah, we're good. We're gonna lock down this guy. And I think I sent you, it was either you and Jack or it was Jack and Jonah. I can't remember. But I said, hey, just double this guy because this guy's been hot. We shut him down. They got nothing else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they did exactly that. They locked him up, and
Mm-hmm.
he was in the corner deep, and he just chucked up an
It was like a
absolute
turnaround fadeaway
prayer.
too.
It was a fadeaway, fading back, one hand. It was a crap shot,
Mm-hmm.
and it went in.
Yeah.
And we ended up losing in overtime. And yeah, so feeding the hot hand. Sometimes the heat check goes in, sometimes it doesn't, but that doesn't mean we don't keep shooting,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Now, what happens when it's the opposite and you can't buy a bucket to save your life?
Well, what happens is you start getting in your head. But I had some great advice about when that happens. And you start, I think it was Landon Thumb who told me this. You start with a layup, and then you go two layups, and then you just move a little bit. Like it, if you get that shot just a little bit back, you shoot a little bit back, maybe a little floater, and then once you got that down, you start shooting again. And if that doesn't go in, you go back to a layup. Okay, and then I think it was like the first quarter, if you're like having an off week or whatever, first quarter all you do is layups. Second quarter, if obviously if you're making your layups as you should be, you start shooting jumpers and you'll start to gain momentum back. And by fourth quarter, you'll be shooting threes.
Yeah, so you need to see the ball
Mm-hmm.
go in the hoop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked a little bit last week about the confidence, right? The mentality
Mm-hmm.
that it takes to continue to get out of your kind of funk.
Right.
And so it was, I don't know if we talked about it so much or it was just the newsletter, but you got to take that breath. The
Mm-hmm.
breath is super important. You say a word that triggers you to go back to a time where you were feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some sort of thing that you do, like some sort of touch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, um, I am if I'm getting into kind of a funk, my word that I'm saying is innovator. I like to be innovative and think outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So it's innovator, and then I just touch my wrist. That's my like grounding to get back to where I know that I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So same type of thing. We just need to, like you said, see it go in.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, what what are three things? Do you remember the three things that we need to be a good shot?
Room, rhythm, and range.
Room, rhythm, and range. Okay, can you break down a room? What does that mean?
A room means you have room to shoot. If someone's like right here, you're probably not going to want to shoot that because they're in your face. Unless you're like a really lethal shooter, you're not going to shoot
Right. So the
that.
room is dependent upon how good of a shooter you are, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're completely open,
Hmm.
that's room for everybody,
Yeah.
right? But for some people they can shoot with somebody right in their face. Some others they need to be a little bit further off. So do you have that room? What is the rhythm portion?
Rhythm is you're either a catch, dribble, shoot, or a catch, set your feet, shoot, right? And so you either need to do one of the two, right? You can't have set your feet, dribble, then shoot. That's not rhythm. No one does that. Well, some people might, but
So the video that we have attached to our newsletter
is it
looks at the
Steph Curry?
rhythm. It is not Steph Curry. It's a Dr. Dish video, I believe, but it just
I don't want
talks.
him coming to the Blazers.
It, it is the process of just getting the ball up in the same spot every time,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure that you're in rhythm. And then what is the range?
Range is how deep you are, how uh, yeah, how far back you are.
Well, so is the range the same for everybody?
No, 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 no.
Right. So range is how far you can consistently
Yeah.
hit, right? Like Damian Lillard,
Mm-hmm.
that playoff game where against Paul George,
KC.
and he's like, that was a bad shot.
Yeah.
Actually, statistically speaking, for Dame, that
Yeah.
was actually a higher percentage shot than him being in closer.
Yeah.
So for Dame, that was definitely in range.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for other players, like I think Evan Turner was also on that team,
Hmm.
not going to be within his range,
Turnover machine.
right? Or Yusuf Nurkic or whoever it is. Like that's not within.
Yusuf Nurkic. When has he ever shot a three?
He's been shooting a couple threes.
A couple.
Yeah, he's been making them.
What do you mean? You follow him on the Suns?
A little bit, yeah.
No, you don't. You
Yeah.
don't watch the
I
Suns.
remember I named my truck after him.
That was like 10 years
No,
ago, bro.
I know.
No, you
Anyways,
don't follow
I
him.
do.
No,
I
you
do.
don't.
Oh, okay.
No. We're gonna talk about this right now. You don't follow him on the Suns.
What do you mean by follow him? Like
You said I follow him, and then you said he makes a few threes.
yeah,
So
I've seen him play
when
on TV when he's played the Blazers.
you've watched every single Blazers game that they've played.
Oh my gosh, I'm not saying I watched every single game. I'm just saying that I've seen him play. Why are you making a big deal about this?
Because you're saying,
bro, you are going to. It's not that deep, as you like to say. It's not that deep. All I'm saying is I've watched him play since he's been on the Suns, and I've seen him hit a few threes. It's not that deep.
He's been on the Blazers, yes.
Since he's been on the Suns, it's not that deep.
Are we gonna have another thing right here?
What?
Are we gonna have another thing right here? You've watched him play since he was on the Blazers.
Yeah, I've watched him play on the Blazers. I watched him play on the Suns.
Yeah, you said since the Suns. So I'm saying since the Blazers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
we're back.
And in scene. That was just a
That was just a
little fun thing we planned. A little
we played.
reenactment of a conversation that took place. Never. Okay,
Never.
so that's kind of the theme of this podcast. Today's podcast is the room, rhythm, and range. You need to have those three things. So, what do you think those three things look like in business or in real estate? How can we equate room, rhythm, and range to business or real estate?
I feel like money's got to be one of them.
Okay.
Money's got to be the room one, because you got to have some wiggle room for your money investments, right?
Okay.
The rhythm is if you're in a slump, if you're in like a little maybe you can't sell any houses.
Okay.
Then you got to go back to the basics, and you got to like look for a little tiny house that's like easy sell, like instant.
Okay.
Maybe not as much money, but just instant, right?
Okay.
And then the range is going back to kind of the last one, the house price range.
Okay. All right. I like it. That definitely works. The room rhythm range. I like where you're talking about the money factor, but you were almost talking about like the negative inverse. You don't have the room, you're not in rhythm, and you don't have the range. So what do you do to get in it? And you go back to the easy bucket where it is within your room, rhythm, and range.
Okay, so you want the opposite of
well, no, I'm just saying like I'm bringing it back full circle here. So as we grow, we can increase our room, rhythm, and range to bigger things. In business, sometimes we are on a hot streak, right? And we take a shot, and it was like, wow, that did not work. And maybe you wouldn't have taken that shot had you not. Huh?
Valentine.
I don't know what that means. So you wouldn't have taken that shot had you not been doing so well. But because you had the room, rhythm, and range, you were feeling it, you took it, it missed. Okay, great. Well, now we adjust.
Yeah.
Or it could land. And you're like, shoot, had I not had this, been on this hot streak, I would have never taken that shot. I would have never taken that risk. Exactly. So
I think there's risk involved in everything.
Oh, there's absolutely risk involved in everything.
Just I don't know why it says. I was thinking there's risk involved in literally everything that you could do. Walking, you could trip and crack your skull.
Wow, that's aggressive, but yes, that's true.
You could. People have done that, dude.
Yeah. No,
it's happened.
Their risk is always present, and we talk about that in Drive Red. Actually, risk is always present, and we can't eliminate every risk,
right?
But we can manage certain risk, and there is some risk that we can eliminate. We don't have to do certain things that would increase our risk, so we can manage other risks. But yeah, risk is always present. It's like, how big of a risk are you wanting to take?
Right.
Like this podcast. This is a risk. It's a low risk, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not really going to have anything happen to you if this doesn't work.
I mean, this is taking time out of our day that we could be doing something else.
Yeah.
Right. So we're risking our time, risking our
vocal cords,
but also we could be taking a risk by maybe alienating some people. Maybe we say something
Mm-hmm.
that isn't liked by everybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we're not here to be liked. We're here to be of
Hated.
value.
Shoot, my fault. I
Yes,
thought we
no,
were on the same
no,
page there.
that was
My
good.
fault, son.
It's like that thing you name a topic or you try and say
Oh
words at the
yeah,
same
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Um,
We should do that. We should do that right now. Right now.
right now,
Right now.
okay. How far are we gonna take this? I only want to go one or two deep because I don't think they really care.
One or two? No, they do. They care.
What's the category?
Category. Let's go basketball.
Basketball. Okay.
Okay. Um. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Steph
West
Curry.
side.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Wait.
We
Wait.
got
Wait.
it.
Wait. Wait.
We
Wait.
got
Wait.
it. We got it. We got it. We got it. Okay.
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 Three,
Three.
2, 1. Golden State
Championship.
Warriors. Oh. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Wait a second. Okay. 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 Okay.
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Oklahoma City
Rings.
Thunder.
Oh my
Oh
goodness. I'm
my
done with
god.
this. Okay. What does nothing that you said has anything to do? What? That didn't even make any sense.
Okay, so let me break it down. Warriors and West Side, right? They were or Steph Curry and
Okay.
West Side.
We're
That's
done.
a team and a
Okay.
player, right? We
All right. We're
combine them.
done. So, an object in motion
Stays
stays in
motion.
motion until acted upon by an
Albert
outside
Einstein.
force. I don't think that was Albert Einstein.
Who was it?
I think it was
Isaac Newton?
Isaac Newton. Yeah.
Oh, that dude.
Okay.
He's pretty smart.
Yeah. So, oftentimes when we're on a roll,
Mhm.
we stay on a roll until something happens, until there's an outside force.
Yeah.
And sometimes that force is us, where like we take that shot, it misses,
Mhm.
or we go into halftime. Like that's the force that stops us, right?
Or it could be like an outside force of something happening to someone in your family, or something happening to you that you couldn't really have prevented.
Right. Or like as a parent, sometimes I feel like I step in, like you're on a roll, but then I see you're headed down this path that may not that I don't think is going to be successful.
Mhm.
And so I step in and try to mitigate that risk for you. There's
Mhm.
that word again, risk. And but I need to do a better job of not doing that, because I think sometimes you need to fail, and you're going to learn a lot more by failing than you would by me keeping you from failing.
Hey, thanks, Pops.
Yeah, no problem.
Fun.
So I think the takeaway from today is have room, rhythm, and range. And when you're on a roll, take the shot. If you're not, then get the easy bucket. Right? That's kind of the takeaway.
Layup.
So the legacy check is where in your life do you have room, rhythm, and range, but you're not pulling the trigger?
Definitely with my real estate class.
Okay, what
I'm
do you
not
mean?
doing enough.
You're not doing enough. Okay.
I have the time, I have the energy, I have the place, I have the technology,
Okay.
but I'm just like putting it off because I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Not that I don't want to have my real estate license, just
right.
I don't want to
You don't want to do the hard thing of going through the class.
do the hard 150-hour course.
Yeah. So with the newsletter, I've been putting off like putting it into a mass thing, and I need to do that one so people can unsubscribe, which I don't know why they would want to unsubscribe. That would be ridiculous. But that needs to be in there. But then I can also see like how well something's performing. Like, are people opening it? Are they clicking on the links? What do we need to change? I can use it to get more information so I can we can do better. We can provide better value for people. So that is I'm probably going to happen this it's probably going to happen with this newsletter for this episode. So we'll see. Okay, do you have a riddle for me?
I do have a riddle for you.
Okay,
all right,
let's hear it.
You ready for this?
Yep.
I have cities but no houses. I have mountains but no trees. I have water but no fish. What am I?
Okay, cities but no houses, mountains but no trees, and water but no fish. Okay, so I mean, a city without any houses, I mean, that could be like a big city. or any houses like in downtown. A mountain without trees. I mean, there's timberline where timber stops growing, and then water without fish. I mean, that's pretty easy. It's like a pool. Um, so I don't know. Let's go with like a resort. I don't know.
No, a map.
Shoot,
Yeah,
that was good. I mean, now that you say that, I feel pretty dumb.
stumped
So
them.
thank you
Yeah,
for that.
you're welcome.
It's two in a row. To be fair, you did test one out on me earlier that I did know,
Yeah,
and so you just want to make sure that I don't know it, which
yeah,
I should just pretend like I don't know these and then ace them for you.
yeah. But you're not a good liar, so that'd probably not work out in your favor.
All right. Well, thanks guys for joining us on Elite Moves. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.